Again, final press conference for Spence versus Crawford. Folks, it's finally here. Fight we've been waiting for.
Great job. You make my job easy.
The boxing world is once again abuzz with excitement and controversy as negotiations for a rematch between Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford take center stage. What was once thought to be a closed chapter after their explosive first meeting in July 2023 has now been reopened, with both fighters and their camps exchanging words and intensifying the debate over legacy, fairness, and championship pedigree. In the early hours of April 2025, insiders confirmed that the rematch clause had been activated. Spence, having been determined to reclaim his honor after a disastrous showing in the previous bout, wasted no time in signaling his readiness to step back into the ring. "We signed and contracted for the rematch, and that's what it is," an unnamed source explained. Although no official date had yet been set, there was little doubt among the fans and pundits that the rematch was the next must-see event on the welterweight calendar.
That's what I want. Y'all can say whatever y'all want, but I'm probably older than you and been through way more than you. So, you know what I mean? I'm more mature. But, you know what I mean? I wish Errol and his people's the best. You know what I mean? What? Oh, shit. Hey. Everybody know Team Crawford. Y'all know I get active.
According to discussions emerging from behind closed doors, both fighters are now fully engaged in negotiations. Spence, known for his relentless work ethic and explosive power, is adamant that the first fight did not fully capture his capabilities. In interviews, he recalled the toll that the 147-pound weight cut had taken on him, insisting that at 154 pounds, his performance would have been on an entirely different level. His camp argues that the weight cut drained his energy and compromised his usual explosiveness, an argument that has resonated with many who felt Spence was not at his best during that fateful encounter. On the opposite side stands Terence Crawford, the undisputed welterweight champion who is equally confident in his claim to greatness. Recalling that historic night, Crawford reminded everyone how he knocked Spence down 3 times and made the case that the contest was never in question. With his calm and measured tone, Crawford dismissed any notion that a different weight class would have changed the outcome. "I don't care about what might have been," he stated in a recent interview, a sentiment that has become a recurring theme in his narrative as he continues to build his legacy. The rematch saga took on new urgency when, just days after the activation of the rematch clause, both fighters began trading heated remarks on social media and during live events. Spence's camp, visibly agitated by the criticisms and reminders of his subpar performance, has accused Crawford of attempting to erase his accomplishments from the narrative. Spence, who has long been heralded as one of the sport's most promising talents, is determined to prove that he was unfairly disadvantaged by circumstances beyond his control. His argument is simple. If given a chance to fight at a more natural weight, his skills would shine through, and he would emerge victorious.
Introducing Terence Crawford.
My commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch him up. Good luck.
Meanwhile, Crawford has taken a different approach. In his public comments, he has maintained that the rematch is simply a matter of contractual obligation and that his performance in the previous bout was an accurate reflection of his superiority in the ring.
Great job. You make my job easy.
As the negotiations heat up, insiders report that tensions have reached a fever pitch. Behind the scenes, talks of potential dates, broadcast deals, and venue selection have begun to swirl. Although both camps are keeping their cards close to the chest, the buzz is undeniable, with major networks and streaming platforms vying for the rights to air this colossal bout. The rematch promises to be a spectacle that will capture the imagination of fight fans worldwide.
Welcome back, everybody. Once again, final press conference for Spence versus Crawford. Folks, it's finally here. Fight we've been waiting for. Era-defining fight.
Adding another layer to the drama, the fallout from past interviews continues to reverberate. Earlier in the season, Crawford's blunt dismissal of Spence's ability to compete at a higher weight class ignited a firestorm on social media. Critics questioned Crawford's judgment and accused him of being overly dismissive of his opponent's talents. Meanwhile, Spence countered with passionate rebuttals, claiming that Crawford was evading the real challenge by sticking to the comfortable confines of a weight class that no longer suited him. Moreover, the dispute over legacy is now drawing in other prominent figures in the sport. Veteran trainers, former champions, and even fellow fighters have begun weighing in, each offering their own take on what the rematch means for the future of welterweight boxing. Some argue that a rematch would settle the debate once and for all, proving that Crawford's dominance was not a fluke. Others maintain that Spence's plight is a cautionary tale about the dangers of extreme weight cuts, and that his performance in the first fight should be viewed in that context alone.
Without even thinking, just having the instincts to do the right art. High output Crawford, yes, likes to.
Better in this fight because Crawford tends to give away some early.
That jab, at moments, you know, we see the counter punching from Crawford.
That's cornering Crawford. The jab, the shot to the body. There's one of the biggest physically imposing welterweight champions ever, but Crawford can turn a fight.
Is vital. That's how he generates.
This internal debate reached a new climax when discussions about Hall of Fame credentials entered the fray. Terence Crawford, with his unblemished record and impressive list of titles, is often seen as the gold standard for modern boxing excellence. Yet his willingness to bypass certain challenges and opt for more lucrative matchups has led some to question whether he truly embodies the fighting spirit required for a Hall of Fame career. In contrast, Errol Spence Jr. is celebrated not only for his in-ring achievements, but also for the adversity he has overcome, a narrative that resonates with many who believe that true greatness is forged through struggle. In one particularly revealing interview on a popular boxing podcast, Crawford's trainer was asked about the potential rematch and his thoughts on the recent controversies. The trainer maintained that while Crawford's technical prowess is unquestionable, the rematch would serve as a litmus test for his character. This isn't just about defending a title, he explained. It's about proving once again that you can rise to the occasion when the stakes are highest. If Spence comes back with everything on the line, then we will see if Crawford's dominance still holds.
Much more so than Crawford.
17 combination punches.
Yeah, letting his hands really good go, Spence. The jab hands go a lot more.
Double jab, good combination. There's that hand speed.
Those shots from Crawford.
Behind the guard.
The Spence jab is working on.
I mean, his fundamentals, speaking of Spence, I mean, just brilliant.
Goes on. He starts fast, ends fast, and textbook fighter. Errol Spence, there's a jab from
Left. And the precise pressure.
He can throw those counter punches.
fast, explosive jab.
The build-up to the rematch is also complicated by the shifting dynamics within the boxing community. Longtime friends and former training partners of Crawford, such as Shakur Stevenson, have expressed mixed feelings about the whole situation. While Stevenson acknowledges Spence's undeniable talent and contributions to the sport, he has also defended Crawford's approach, arguing that the champion has every right to pursue the battles he chooses. This internal division among allies has only added fuel to the fire, with debates raging over whether loyalty to a fighter's past should ever come at the expense of pursuing new challenges. As April 2025 unfolds, the excitement surrounding the rematch continues to grow. Promoters are now whispering about potential blockbuster pay-per-view deals, and the global boxing community is waiting with bated breath for an official announcement. With both fighters poised to make their case in the ring, many believe that this rematch could redefine the trajectory of modern boxing. It is not just a fight for supremacy, but a contest that encapsulates the broader struggle between raw talent, relentless ambition, and the often harsh realities of modern sports commerce.
Both in attendance here tonight.
He started off really good with the jab. Double, triple jab and body.
Forward, trying to lean in on
From Crawford, the opening.
the left hand and
good. It's been great.
Yeah, no doubt the pressure there is from...
The advice given to Spence, oh my.
Dropping his weight with Errol Spence Jr., the jab, the left hand. Double jab, left hand.
Advice given to Spence.
Outside the ring, the rematch is already proving to be a magnet for controversy and discussion. Fans are taking to social media to share their predictions, with some insisting that Spence's improved conditioning at 154 pounds will finally allow him to reclaim victory, while others remain steadfast in their belief that Crawford's methodical dismantling of his previous opponent is the only acceptable outcome. Analysts are splitting on whether the weight issue will be the deciding factor or if technical superiority will once again reign supreme. Ultimately, the narrative that is unfolding is one of redemption and rivalry. Errol Spence Jr., having experienced the sting of defeat and the criticism of his detractors, is determined to rewrite his story in the ring. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, remains the picture of composure and confidence, unyielding in his belief that his previous performance was a true measure of his abilities. As both men prepare for what could be the fight of a generation, the stakes could not be higher, not just for the fighters, but for the entire sport of boxing.
Resiliency to get through a lot of stuff in life. I like to thank everybody coming out here and supporting. Make sure y'all order Fight on Showtime pay-per-view. I guarantee you I'm gonna put on a great show and a great performance. Make sure you bring your season for Saturday night, because we're going to have a Crawford.
In the end, the confirmed rematch between Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford is more than just a contractual obligation. It is a clash of legacies, ideologies, and the very essence of competitive spirit. With negotiations underway and the promise of a blockbuster event on the horizon, the boxing world watches with anticipation, eager to see which fighter will emerge not only as the victor in the ring, but also as the rightful heir to boxing greatness.
And the counter right. Errol Spence on inline skates. And the referee has intervened. Mamma mia! Terence Bud Crawford has made history.
The next few months promise to be some of the most exciting in modern boxing history. As details continue to emerge and both camps ramp up their preparations, fans and experts alike can only wonder, will the rematch finally settle the debate over who is the true king of the welterweight division, or will it only serve to further complicate the already tangled narratives of legacy and ambition in today's sport? For now, the answer remains tantalizingly out of reach, leaving the world to wait in suspense for one of boxing's most anticipated showdowns.